All right. Well, thank you both for coming out today. And thank you for bearing with us too. I know that we had some technical difficulties, but we have Pinup here, our first 2-person guest, Christina and Heather. Thank you.
Yes.
How you ladies doing?
I'm excited. I'm good.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Glad to be back.
I know, right? And salons are opening, kind of. So
salons are open. People are still getting married. Smaller caliber, but it's all still happening.
Mm-hmm. Which I've had that conversation so much. I mean, even for Bride Genie, we're actually having this conversation tonight about like revisiting all the categories that are already launched, because we need now 2 separate budgets. Because if you're getting a photographer and you're doing a full event versus like a micro wedding, as they're calling it now, the pricing is not going to be the same. So if they're putting their minimum as, $2,000, they're never going to hit those micro weddings.
That's true.
So it's crazy how like everybody's adapting.
Well, and I think too, a lot of brides are trying to get married, on weekdays now. So a lot of people are coming out with elopement packages, which is what we did for people getting married Monday through Thursday. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's obviously not their real wedding, but they still are excited to get married. So they want to have something in place of. So,
well, yeah, I don't want to do my own hair and makeup, if it's, first of all, I don't want to do it ever. Well, podcast day, I'll do it, but that's about the only time. Yep. But like, you still want to feel, beautiful. Even if I know that one of the dresses that Emily had on in the fashion show that we just did a few weeks ago was a shorter dress, because brides are not looking to wear their actual dress in the small micro wedding, but they want to still wear something that's white and something that's like not just a 20 like a boutique or something, you know what I mean? Like they want something a little bit fancier, but still within that more casual style.
Which I loved that dress on her. I love that dress in general. It's like the perfect, like, if you're just sick of holding the train up and everything, you can kind of still move around and breathe.
Yeah, as somebody who's never been married, I didn't think about how frustrating it is walking around. Like when we were walking from like one area to the other, and like the photographers, Chad, everybody's way ahead of me, and I've got this like huge dress around me. I'm like, you spent hours in this thing?
My train broke like, I don't even think it was halfway through, like after we bustled it up. And so I couldn't tell you how many like safety pins we had shoved in the back of it.
Oh my God.
And it was so heavy.
I might have to just, keep that in the back of my head one day and then purposefully change into something else, because
I totally would have gone for 2. If I ever did this again, I'd go for 2.
Yeah.
I think it's smart.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are you married?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
One
day we'll have a dress to change into.
Yeah, we'll know. We'll have learned from everybody else past experiences and just know ahead of time that we should be, changing instead of having this big poofy dress. Mm-hmm. We wanted to do like bloopers from that and like pull it up and like take shots, because like you have to back into the bathroom to go to the bathroom, so it's a whole process. Apparently, I wouldn't know, but
it's an ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth it though.
It is. So what are you guys seeing at the salon? I mean, obviously there's I know when I got my hair done, literally the first day that people could go back out, phase 2, 5:30, first appointment. Yep. And I had to get my temperature taken, wear a mask, walking back. When I got to her section though, I could take it off. So do you guys, are things getting stricter again, or do you guys, like, what are you seeing?
So because we are a 10-chair salon, we were requiring the guest and our stylist stylists have to wear the masks. Mm-hmm. But we were asking, just because we had so many people in there. I mean, I think our first week back, I think we had over like 100 guests. That's a lot of people to come into a place. So obviously the sanitation has always been there. We upped it as much as we could and do the temperature checks and the consent forms. But now it is obviously everywhere you have to wear a mask. So that's not even an option for anybody, unfortunately. But it's different. It's good to be back, but it's just different.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to like read how people feel, because you can't see. I'm like, I pick up on your faces and like everything that you do. And so it's like, you can't really see anything with a mask.
Yeah. I wonder if you guys could have, for like when you get in the chair, you like switch them to one of like a face shield, but then it would mess up with their hair.
Yeah. So I've had one client wear one though, because she couldn't wear the mask due to some, what is the word?
allergies?
Not allergies, but she had a note. So she did wear a face shield, and I actually preferred that just because I could actually like read and like look at her face. But it does kind of get in the way. But
I've seen some that they're making now where the surrounding part of your face is material, and then they have like a plastic thing.
So for people who read lips and stuff like that,
Yeah, well, and to your point, like you can see somebody's facial expression because like unless I start crying in your chair,
this is true.
How would you know?
You probably wouldn't know.
I just feel like everybody looks so angry.
Yeah, well, they're probably like, I mean,
not just at the salon, just in general.
That's true. I feel like, well, I mean, because like you're like got RBF going on, and you're just like running in, running out. You can't see your mouth. Nobody's smiling, and it's just the whole thing. But
Botox is fresh now, so hello.
Yeah, everybody's getting work done. I feel like pretty much most of the people I'm talking to on a daily basis have done something, and I'm like trying to think, what should I do? I don't know.
Possibilities are endless.
I know, it's crazy, but I mean, so if they have to wear masks though, how are they? They can take it off when they're getting makeup done?
So makeup, I mean, it's just, there's really no way around it if you're doing makeup.
Yeah.
So they have taken it off. And I think we've only had one actually come into the salon for their bridal stuff. So they paid while it was getting done, and then they left because obviously once you put lipstick on and everything, that's going to get all over the mask. We've done a full face, we've contoured, we've done the blush. And so you don't want to mess any of that up. So obviously the stylist is wearing the mask the whole time. But if you have makeup, then you're not going to wear one.
Yeah, because it would, to your point, even when I get in my car and I take mine off, and I don't even have that much makeup on, but it's still inside the mask. So if I just paid for this, I definitely don't want it to just get messed up as I'm walking out the door either. So that's a whole thing. But, well, we can pivot a little bit so it's not so COVID and gloomy. But I know that you guys kind of got started at the bridal shows and you were doing lashes, right?
Yep.
And that's where Pinup kind of came to fruition back in the day, right?
It did. So I started with Forever Bridal in 2017 at their summer show. And that was it was just me. I had one studio, just a one-chair studio. I was doing a lot of lash extensions. And so I had came in as kind of like a specialty vendor because it wasn't, I mean, it's a totally different ballgame compared to the photographers and the caterers.
Yeah.
So it was just me, and I kind of built a little bit of a clientele, like a normal clientele for just hair color and cuts, and then lash extension clients. And it wasn't until I think it was 3 shows later that I'd actually expanded, and then I had the bridal team. And I always thought it was so cool when I would go there because they would do these fashion shows, and there would typically only be about 1, maybe 2 salons or hairstylists in there advertising that. And so I always thought, like, it would be so cool to be the person behind who, like, sponsored that hair and makeup. And I just felt like a lot of brides that would come through there, it was really hard for them to find these vendors, which now being a vendor, I understand the back end of it. It is costly, and it is a little bit harder for salons to kind of make their return just because their deposits aren't the same as somebody getting a venue, that can potentially pay off all of that. So it does take a little bit longer to come back, but it's still a need. It's still a want. And even being a full service salon, that's what helped bring clientele to us in general.
Right.
And just get your name out there. So that's where, we expanded. And then once I finally had a team, we did the first fashion show. And the rest has just been pretty good history, I think.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was only in 2017 that you started because you have grown significantly since then. I mean, you have how many stylists now?
9.
Yeah, that's amazing growth.
A lot.
I mean,
it's exciting.
And to start off with lashes and then see the need and the gap in the industry. I mean, again, I've seen it as well. The amount the vendors are paying to try to advertise. And I mean, the first guest we had on, he was a corporate event planner. And I think one of the first things he said was that he gives all the credit in the world to wedding professionals because it's so much harder. It really is. I mean, it's not a regular clientele. It's something that it's a one-time thing. But for you, I mean, to have expanded to a studio, I mean, if I had, to get my hair and makeup done and then I would need it again for another event, or I just loved how she cut my hair or colored it or whatever she did, now you have a return customer. So
exactly. Well, and I think that's, I mean, I was just never good at updos. So, and even with Heather, our bridal coordinator, she can do updos. It's not something that she's going to do all the time, but, you know, she had booked a bride, her and the bride really clicked, and now she colors her hair.
Cool.
And so, like, no, she might not be doing her hair for her big day, but, like, she now has a color client. She now has that person in. So it is a good way for you to kind of, like, make more of a personal connection with them and build a little bit longer of a lasting relationship than some vendors usually get,
right,
which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So Heather, what goes into being a bridal coordinator? Because, you know, most people, I'm sure, are used to, they either go online. I just text my stylist, I'm like, hey, when's your next available? And I'm sure it drives her freaking crazy, so I'm very sorry, Megan, but like, what goes into being a bridal coordinator, and how far out in advance should brides really be contacting their stylist and the salons that they're thinking about working with?
So we have a website that we started with, but they initially email. I go over dates that we have available with all of our stylists, because we have stylists and we also have freelance people now. We go over pricing, all of that. It just kind of like takes the headache off of my stylist from figuring out like when they're available and all that. So that's nice for them. We normally recommend doing like booking your hair and makeup about 6 months in advance. That way you like can research people around the area. You get like a good idea of like what hair and makeup style you want, what goes with your dress, all that stuff. So we do a pretty intense consultation beforehand, and then we wait to do their trial about a month to 6 weeks in advance. That way, just in case they change something, they haven't already paid for their trial and done something and then want to change it to something else.
Right. So are they going through the process of, they contact you, say like, hey, I'm interested in potentially having you guys do my hair and makeup for myself, my bridal party, and the other people involved. Are they then, do they have to pay for the consultation to come in when they're doing the trial? And then do they do the trial and then they put a deposit down? Or like, I just have no clue.
So it depends. Every bride is a little bit different.
Okay.
Most brides come in and do a consultation with me first, just going over our contract, what our bridal agreement is, what the trial looks like, all of that stuff, kind of breaking it down, and how we do our payments. So what we do is they pay a deposit, which is normally half the amount of everything. We also do, everything is electronic, so I can send it to, say they're paying for everything, I can send it to just the bride, or I can send it to her party as well, if they're not, if she's paid for it. So they do half of it then, and then they do the other half a week before the event.
Gotcha.
So it's a little bit easier, but yeah, the trial's included for our bride with hair and makeup in their pricing. So we don't have to worry about booking an extra thing, paying for an extra thing. It's already just included.
Right, because you'd assume if she comes in, gets her hair and makeup done, and she likes the way she looks, well, that's good enough for everybody else. Like, if I look good and I'm happy with the way this looks, then I know my bridal party will be taken care of. So, interesting. I didn't know anything like that, because I thought that, you know, you just call and book it. I knew there were trials, but I just didn't know how far out you had to do that. So,
well, and I think a lot of brides too, like they'll do their trial when they do their bridal portraits.
Oh,
because it's kind of
smart.
like more bang for your buck in a way.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, it's good for them to kind of see the pictures and see what they like and don't like. So a lot of them will kind of book it and make sure everything is set where they're all dressed up and ready to go. That's
a really great idea, and it's actually like cost saving for the bride too, because you're spending money on the pictures, so now you're not having to, you're getting your hair professionally done and your makeup done, and it's pretty much included with the package that you're offering for them. So that's awesome. It's a great idea. I didn't even think of that. So coordinate. That's the moral.
You're gonna have your whole wedding like so set in stone by the time that comes.
Oh my God, I know. And the most ironic part about that is I'm not like somebody who's ever planned my wedding. Like, I'm not somebody who was like, oh, I want this dress. And I was like, I care more about the ring and the honeymoon.
But now you're going to have all the tips and tricks you could ever, and then some, need.
And I know all the vendors. I'm like, I have all your personal phone numbers. I was like, I can just call you up and be like, hey, are you available like in a week or something? I'm just gonna, it'll be small. It'll be really small. I mean, if it was up to me, it'd be like me, the guy, and that's it. But then I know my family would be super upset about that. So
I totally understand that way.
Yeah. But Okay, I don't even have a boyfriend, so we don't need to plan that out yet. Take it one step at a time. So that's interesting. And I know that you mentioned too the idea of like having a set styles that like the bride would want for her bridesmaids, right? Like, how do they pick that, and what have you seen looking the best? I mean, are people having their hair's down and everybody else's hair is up, or is it a mix? Is it better if everybody looks the same? Like, how do you style that?
Do you want to touch on that, or you want me to?
You can go first if you want.
I mean, I think it's the bride's preference. I think it might depend too on the bridesmaid's dress, like their neckline.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when I got married, I think I sent maybe 2 or 3 different styles to my bridesmaids to pick. Usually, from what I've seen, and I think obviously you too, a lot of brides like their bridesmaids to have the half up, half down. Obviously some curls, nothing too crazy, and because the bride's going to get the more elegant updo. They're going to want it all the way up, usually. And so... And some brides don't want to have their hair is up, only one other bridesmaid's hair is all the way up, and then everyone else. They're going to want it a little bit more cohesive than that. So that's why we typically recommend that they pick anywhere from 2 to 3 hairstyles, send that to their bridesmaids. And then the stylists, when they show up on the day of, it's not like the bridesmaid sits in the chair and is like, I don't really know what I want. Just curls, I guess.
Right.
It helps the stylist. It helps eliminate stress, time, everything. Everybody kind of knows what they're going to look like, what they want. It's a little bit of easier flow.
Yeah, I can see that because I would have no idea. And I think you're right. It does depend on the dresses. So I'm assuming that they would need to at least have some sort of idea of what kind of dresses they're going to wear, whether they bought them or not, before they would want to have that conversation, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have their own dress even. I mean, because how would you know if you want your own hair up or down if you don't know which dress you're wearing?
Exactly.
Yeah. Because if you have this, like you said, something super elaborate or like,
or if it's like totally off the shoulder or what. I mean, it really kind of depends. But I mean, obviously the bridesmaid, they have their dress. They know what they're getting well before we even become part of their picture.
Yeah, dresses are normally way before hair and makeup is chosen.
Yeah. But too, some girls just don't want their hair all the way up in general. I don't like my hair all the way up, usually. I have a very round face. I don't want to see it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want my hair all the way up. I mean, I remember I did an updo for like my prom picture, but then I had like loose curls around my face, so it wasn't like tightly up or anything. But I don't think I'd do that again. I think I would have it down. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like the half up, like half loose. Down thing, loose, like I guess kind of like my hair is now, but
even like the side like ponytail type of braid thing that you had when y'all did the unveiled shoot, because it was like it was up, but it was still very like soft and romantic and like swept to the side. Like I liked that a lot.
That's what's in right now too, is a lot more of the boho, the braids, very soft, not a whole lot of tight updos at all.
No.
Yeah, the boho look I think is definitely kind of trending right now, which I mean I like the way it looks. I love it. I think it is a little bit more laid back, and I think that also correlates too with these smaller events and things like that. It's not so formal and rigid. I feel like I don't know why I think of like the 90s when I think of these like formal rigid styles, but like that's kind of what it was. Everything was like tight and back and small pencil eyebrows, and it was just like not very a good stuffy look. Yeah. Now everybody's like bushy and stuff. I'm like, at least eyebrows wise, but mine are a mess. But I need Chris.
Mine are tattooed, so.
Are they?
Yeah.
Like actually tattooed?
Microbladed, yeah.
Oh, what was that like?
Oh, it was great. I had no tail to my eyebrow. I had no eyebrows. They were like threaded all the way off. So, random plug. My friend Jen, who owns Altered Aesthetics, did them.
Hey, plug away.
But me and her used to work together. So yeah, I got them microbladed. She does like the combo. So they do the strokes and then they fill in behind it with the powder brow. So it kind of gives you the makeup look. So like I'll color over them a little bit when I have actual makeup on. But I mean, I wake up and look like I actually have something. I literally had no tail to my eyebrows.
Oh, they look amazing. I wouldn't have known. Yeah. So is that something that brides would do a lot before their wedding?
A lot of brides actually do. Again, the one who was a bride of ours who ended up being a hair color client for her, she ended up reaching out to her because it's cool. They can go on their honeymoon and they can swim and they don't have to worry about wiping their eyebrows off because they're not going anywhere.
that's another good reason to get lash extensions before your wedding, because then you don't have to worry about makeup at all during your honeymoon.
Oh, that's true too.
No
you're
mascara.
You're not gonna have all, especially if you go somewhere like tropical, you're not gonna have all the mascara under your eyes. Granted, I'm somebody who I don't even care. I'm like, oh, you know what I look like without makeup on. I don't look good. This is probably why I'm single too. I don't know. So maybe don't listen to me.
No,
but
I walk around looking like a naked mole rat all the time. It's okay.
A naked mole rat.
I can't. I'm sure you're exaggerating because I can't imagine that. But yeah, I think that is a good point though, because I'm sure you want to look like cute again for your honeymoon. I don't know, but
you're gonna be on the beach. You're gonna want cute little
pictures.
And,
yeah, I think that's what it's more for, is for the pictures and for that kind of stuff. Because like you're right, you're gonna probably Instagram the hell out of it. So.
Especially if you're tropical, you're gonna have the big sun hat and the little Mrs. sun hat, that all the girls get and all that. I didn't get the tropical thing, so that's just me being jealous.
Oh, girl, I'm all about a sun hat. I was just on the beach, and I had some cute big floppy hat pictures. Yep. All about it. So I can understand that. But I didn't have makeup on. I just threw some sunglasses on, and I was like, yep, this is enough.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that. But well, yeah, interesting. I didn't even think about the eyebrows. I think there's so many little things that people don't even think about. Like I talked to someone about Botox before your wedding. And, and eyelashes, eyebrows, everything.
Well, and I think for a long time too, like microbrows. Microblading was so new for so long. Yeah. And so I think with people's brows, and then too, bigger brows are kind of just now kind of coming back and having the high arch and the longer brow tail and stuff like that. So I think that that's kind of slowly been making a comeback that a lot of people, I love them. I love a good brow. Who doesn't? But, and then with the Botox, I think that was the first time my mom really started doing any of that about 9 months before our wedding. Going to see that and get stuff done. And because your parents are going to get in pictures and we've even seen that at bridal shows too. There was chiroplastic surgery was at the last one. And there was a lot of moms that were super interested in that because they want to look good too. The moms want to feel good. They deserve it.
I totally get that. I think that's the one time that you would think if I was going to do it. And I'm sure when you hit a certain age, you're probably thinking about it and you just need an excuse to do it. So it's the perfect excuse. Apparently I need Botox. I don't know. That's what Chad told me in the shoot.
Oh, I saw that. I saw your comment on that.
Yeah, because keep in mind, I did the photo shoot with my business partner. So, single life. And we were this close to each other. And he's like, man, you should look at some Botox. I was like, I'm 26. What are you talking about? And he was like, that's okay. I have Botox. I'm like, I was like, you do? I can't tell. I was like, you need some more.
Meanwhile, they're trying to take romantic wedding pictures.
We were talking about contracts and all business stuff. And then we're smiling. He's super nervous. Cristobal would be like, all right, look at each other and make her laugh and smile and stuff. And we'd start walking and then he'd just look straight at his feet. And it was like dealing with a 5-year-old.
No, look at me.
I would be like, hey, I'd have to be smiling because I know I'm being filmed and photographed. And I'd while I'm smiling, I'd be like, hey, remember you're supposed to look at me.
I'm right here.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't watch. I know he's not going to watch any of these, but that's fine. So we can talk some shit. But yeah, it was still a lot of fun. The photos turned out great.
Oh yeah. You would have never known.
Hair and makeup obviously looked amazing, but for everybody. I know we were talking about it earlier with Emily's makeup, but I wish I could have told her to just go all out and do some crazy makeup styles because I think it would be awesome, especially after seeing her work after the fact. But obviously we couldn't do some super heavy colorful makeup.
Oh yeah. It would be she's definitely she's great with anything, but she is really good with the editorial stuff. You just don't see that anymore. A lot of the brides, they want your natural smoky eye. Some want a little bit of a winged eyeliner. Some don't at all. They want to look like they don't have any makeup on.
Yeah.
But her with the editorial stuff, she is so good.
Yeah.
She kills it, yeah.
Yeah. And again, I wouldn't want anything super dramatic in my wedding photos, but then I was like, I'm gonna have to get her to come do my makeup before one of these podcasts just so I can do it for fun, because why not? It looks so great. And the fact that you said she just decided to self-teach herself, I give her so much credit. That's such a difficult and rare talent to be able to pick up on like that?
I don't know how she has the patience for it. I mean, I say that as I do lash extensions, which you have to have a lot of patience for. I don't know what it is about makeup, but like all of her stuff is just so perfect.
I use my fingertips to put eyeshadow on, so you're not talking to the right person here. I got tired of cleaning my makeup brushes, and I was like, I got all these fingertips. I don't need to clean makeup brushes.
Swipe.
Literally, and it works out so well. Well, I mean, I think it works out well.
I think you look great.
Thank you. I mean, I was like, well, whatever, it's fine. Nobody knows. Nobody's looking at my eyes that closely. But yeah, I think her style, her makeup for both the shoot and for her editorial stuff looks amazing. And again, so what is the process? This is kind of shifting gears a little bit, but with eyelash extensions, because I've never had them done. I've had the strip lashes put on when I'm doing a shoot or something, but what's the process? I mean, is it individual lashes?
Each individual lash. So a full set can take anywhere from about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So, and the natural person has anywhere from 90 to 120 lashes on each eye.
Wow.
So, and I get anywhere from 95 to like 99%. Every lash I can possibly get, I will lash.
Yeah.
And a lot of brides like those because it is more customizable to your eye shape as opposed to lash extensions. So you can make them as natural or dramatic as you want. So we typically recommend, if brides are going to do the lash extensions, to come in either before their bridal shower or even their bachelorette weekend, because that can be their first set. We typically go a little bit shorter just to kind of ease them into it. They feel nothing like strip lashes. They're a lot lighter. They are very comfortable, but it's a different look. And so some of them don't understand that until they see it. So they can get the first set done. When they come in to get them filled, they come in every 2 to 3 weeks to get them filled. So we take off anything that looks like it's twisted or turned or overgrown, and then we fill in all the new growth. So if they loved them, great, we'll put in the same thing we did. If they want them a little bit more dramatic, we amp it up, we go a little bit longer, and it blends in perfectly. Interesting.
And are you gluing those in the same way that you would do with strip lashes?
No. So these are going on, this is about 1 centimeter away from the lash line. So you isolate, like I have tweezers in both hands. So you isolate with one, and then you would pick a lash up, dip it in the adhesive, and put it about 1 centimeter away from the lash line. So this is like super lash nerd talk, but each lash has like a 90-day cycle.
Okay.
So the extension will grow up with the lash and fall off with the cycle. You're naturally losing anywhere from 2 to 5 lashes a day of your own. We just don't notice it.
This is going to sound really dumb, but I didn't even know that you lost your eyelashes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know you, every once in a while they fall out, but I didn't realize that it's almost like hair growth.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's exactly like it. I mean, if we colored all of your lashes right now red, in 90 days, you would not have any red lashes left because they all grow out. It's just like your hair. Mm-hmm. But you don't notice it as much with your lashes because it's typically when you're sleeping, washing your face, when you're in the shower. They're obviously a lot smaller than your hair on your head.
That's insane. Mm-hmm. I had no idea that was the size. I figured, I guess this is just me not ever thinking about eyelash growth, but I figured.
No one does. It's not true.
Yeah, you wouldn't unless you were in
the
industry.
Right. And I know they fall out, so obviously they have to grow back, but I didn't think it was on an actual cycle, like your hair. Wow, that's insane. So the eyelashes are growing with your natural lash, and then they're kind of like fusing together at that point.
Yeah, so they're glued together, like, that centimeter from the lash line. So, and obviously the extension is going to be thicker than your natural lash. So that's what'll give you a little bit of a darker lash line, giving you kind of the appearance of an eyeliner look.
Gotcha.
And as it grows up, it just falls right off.
Wow, that's insane. I had no idea. I never knew the process for that. I figured it was just like trying to glue them right above your actual lash, kind of like the strip ones are, but I didn't know that they were actually being put together with your actual lashes.
No, it's a totally different type of adhesive. So like the main bonding agent in that is going to hold, like that's what holds up, so you can have them on and so that they last. So it's not going to be like your typical lash adhesive that'll wash off at the end of the night.
Can you use eye makeup with that? I mean, other than eyeshadow, you use mascara and stuff on them?
You don't need mascara.
So
we don't really
eyeliner?
recommend it, but I mean, sometimes if it's before they get their lashes filled, they'll start using a little bit of eyeliner just to blend it out, but only on the tips of their lashes. So, but you can use eyeliner as long as the only thing the lash extensions really don't like is oil.
Gotcha.
Because it breaks down the adhesive.
That's mind-blowing. I had no idea. I just knew that. I guess I never thought about it. I remember this one girl that I worked with at one time. It was my first corporate job after my last startup. And I didn't like this girl at all. She was not nice to me. Like, she wouldn't even say hello to me. Like, she was just not nice. Anyway, one day she came in and she had an eyelash, like one of her extensions, like on her cheek. And I didn't tell her.
And it'll look like little whiskers. Like, they're dark and they're thicker. So, I mean, you can definitely tell.
Oh, yeah. I was like...
That's funny.
I knew... yeah, she was... Nobody told... Like, I guess most people... I feel like... Well, if I liked her, I easily would have been like, hey, girl, like, got a little something right there. But, no, I didn't say anything.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't either.
She was so rude to me. I was like, this is ridiculous. But whatever. That's a whole nother bottle of wine, I think. Speaking of which, you guys want some more?
I mean, I'm definitely about to take this up, so.
Yeah, there you go. Sip away. So, what else are you guys seeing right now? I mean, you're participating in the virtual show, you said, right?
Yep, we are.
How do you feel about that?
I'm excited. I think obviously leads are different with brides. Wedding parties are not necessarily 8 to 10 brides or 8 to 10 people in a wedding party, but we're still getting inquiries. I mean, and I think... like we talked about, people still want to get married. It's not just because this is happening, people are going to stop getting married. They shouldn't, and they're not going to. So it's going to be different. We're doing the fashion show again for that, the hair and makeup, so that's super exciting.
Oh, they're doing the fashion show.
So they're doing a virtual one that's going to be pre-recorded, and then they're going to put that on. So it's going to be smaller than obviously their normal fashion shows. It's not going to be as many models. But it'll still kind of be the same thing, kind of let people see the different dresses, looks, hairstyles, tucks, everything. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be different. Heather's a lot better with the tech stuff, so she's really excited to set up the platform. I think the main thing with the virtual show that a lot of people don't understand, where I think this is going to set it apart, is it's not just like you're going and shopping online. I think everyone's kind of tried to switch everything to virtual, and you try to do it, and it's just looking at websites. And this is going to be
very interactive.
It is very interactive. It kind of reminds me of Palace. Did anyone play that back in the day with like the dolls that you dressed up and they had their rooms? Okay, well, hopefully anybody who's listening to this will understand what I'm saying. But it was really fun. So you had your own rooms. So like that's kind of how it is for the vendors. Like they're going to be all listed out differently, and so you have your main web page. So we'll have our specials on one thing. You can kind of actually talk to us on another. We're going to have a video of us doing hair and makeup. And so it's going to be a lot more catered to what the bride actually wants to look at. Say there's a bride who really just needs the few last minute things. That's what she's going to go in and look for. She's not going to look for the venue. So it's going to be very organized and kind of catered more towards for the bride, obviously.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like, and that was, again, the whole point of the fashion show. It's like, they're kind of missing out on the fun part of the planning experience. Like, going to the actual shows are fun. I feel like it's a check mark on the list of things to do when you're planning.
Yeah.
So, obviously it's not probably ideal, but it's still, I think, a good option to do and to participate and to be able to talk to people. And even if you're just missing, like, to your point, a few things, it's not a lot of time that you have to, like, put into it.
Exactly. Well, and you can make it fun, and I loved going to, I love even being a vendor in it because you can still get the food samples.
Yeah.
But, like, being a bride and going to those and trying the wines and meeting the vendors, like, it gives you, especially for photographers and stuff like that, you really want to have a personal connection with some of these people. They're going to be with you on the biggest day of your life. So this is still giving you the opportunity to literally FaceTime the vendor that you want to talk to. So if a bride picks us, she can physically talk to us then. We will be live on the platform. But
oh, that's cool.
I think too, like, the brides can make it something fun. They could invite their bridesmaids over and have some wine and have some food and, like, look through the show together. I mean, it's not going to be the same experience. Unfortunately, nothing's really going to be the same right now. But I think it's going to be about as close as you can possibly get to it.
Yeah. And the food and the wine is definitely a perk. City Barbecue, plug them. Gosh. That was like my favorite one.
All the mac and cheese.
That's all I ate was mac and cheese pretty much all day. I had a hidden cooler of Truly under my table, and then I found out that there was already free wine. So I was like, oh, great.
Yep. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. It's something that I've never really been exposed to before. So, and
well, the energy I feel like in those shows, it's always just very high. Everybody's happy. There's literally no reason to go to a bridal show and not be happy. You're there to have fun.
Well, and the vendors are all there, and they're so passionate. Like that was kind of what the podcast came out of, was when we were building the platform, for Bride Genie, it was all me calling vendors and asking them, hey, like, what are the questions that you need brides to answer so you can quote them? And I would schedule those calls to be like 20 minutes. Like, I didn't think they'd be very long. Every single one of them was at least an hour. And it's just because they're super passionate. And so I was like, this is great content. Like, people are saying things that brides need to hear, and it helps them kind of get their business out. And we just went through and we're cutting clips and stuff so that they're more like focused topics so people can learn more. But I think that people in the industry just love what they do. So
this is definitely like a passion-filled industry.
You can't do it if you're not passionate about it, because
you're dealing with the public.
It's too hard. I mean, it's easier to do, if you're passionate about photography, it's easier to do corporate photography and you can make more money. So if you're a wedding photographer, you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it because you like to do it. Like, plain and simple. So, which I love. I mean, I would rather work with somebody that's super passionate about what they do. Even Chris is a perfect example. That boy loves weddings. I mean, he loves the industry.
Anything pretty.
Yeah. Like, loves it. And I mean, that's like, he says it all the time. Like, I'm not in this for the money. I'm in it because I love putting on like beautiful weddings.
Yep. And you can tell.
Oh my God. You can see it's like in his soul that he loves it. So, but that's what you get in this field, which is unique. It's super unique because I've been in so many different, usually all within tech, but different fields. And you just don't see that. So that's what I like. I think it's cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, again, I can't do the updos, but I love my business and my salon and my girls. And Heather is great at making sure everything is organized and good to go. So
are updos like super popular? I feel like they're not even that popular.
I mean, no, like, don't even let me do a braid. I can't do the half up, half down. I cannot lock my bobby pin. Nope. I've not been able to do it since cosmetology school.
It's definitely you have to be more passionate about upstyling and the whole...
Any of it. Don't give it to me.
Yeah.
I liked color. That was just my personal preference in cosmetology school. So with and they would always try to do like competitions and everything. Nope.
I don't even know what locking a bobby pin means. So
so like when you had your updo at prom and you were dancing and moving, locking it just keeps it from falling out of place.
Are you just like... If
I would have done it, your whole head would have been out probably before pictures were over.
Are you just like twisting them or something?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Because I literally...
All right, well, we're not asking you.
There's a few different ways. A lot of times you like create an X with them. So we just one goes in and then the other one goes in and they form an X, like depending on where it is.
Oh, that's crazy. I wouldn't have the patience for it.
And that's why I don't do it.
Same. There's multiple
But I love
reasons.
making people feel pretty, and I love being a part of anything special and fun, and that has to do with beauty. So that's kind of, again, where...
It's definitely exciting whenever brides and bridesmaids are in, and even the flower girl, like Alexis and I did a small bridal party a couple Saturdays ago, and it was just like the energy was just so much...
That flower girl was...
different than your normal day. Yeah. Like, it was just so upbeat. Everyone's excited and nervous, and
you guys are going to the venues and you're doing their hair and makeup there, so it's like you're kind of a part of right before they walk down the aisle. So I think that must be a really unique time to be with them, because it's like nerves, and then there's mimosas, and then
you're in the back room, you hear all the stuff. I mean, we obviously, brides are allowed to get ready in their bridal party at our salon, or we can usually 9 times out of 10 the brides are getting married at the venue because they have a bridal suite. That's where they want their pictures taken in the back and everything like that. So that's
we do travel too, but they're more than welcome to get ready at the salon too.
I would think that would be just easier. Like, you already have to coordinate so much, so just go to the place.
Be there.
And you're right, the bridal suites are normally beautiful because they know you're going to be taking a ton of I wish we had more pictures of us getting our hair and makeup done.
Yeah.
So I feel like we didn't get enough of those because there was such
there's just a
cluster. Yeah. Like we had so many people, so many brides, everybody running around. Like it was crazy.
That was a shoot. It's definitely a little, well, I don't want to say relaxed because it's still wedding day for people, but it is usually a little bit more tame.
Are you saying I wasn't organized?
Okay.
It was chaos. It's fine.
We all were chaos. Yeah. It's a photo shoot. That's what they're for. But typically, like, you only have the bride running around and the bridesmaids are just like trying to pour another mimosa.
Or the wedding planner.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, the wedding planner.
Making everything go smoother.
Yeah. I can see that because they're probably helping get everybody around. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The people that don't have wedding planners, I'm sorry. Like, you should have got one because they're.
And make sure you get a good one. They're worth it. They are so worth it.
There's some vendors that won't work with a couple if they don't have them. I remember, like I've talked to many, and they'll ask. That's one of the first questions. Like, do you have a wedding planner? I've been seeing it a lot in the DJ space because
that makes sense.
Yeah, because they're basically wedding planner part 2. Like, they're the one coordinating the whole event now that it's happening and it's live. So if there's not a wedding planner to make sure that like the food's coming out, like people will ask the DJ, and they're like, I'm trying to like run the show here, so I can't go check on your caterer, and like I can't go find more chairs, and it's wild. So that actually is like a mandate for a lot of the like the good ones will say like, do you have a wedding planner? Because like I'm not a wedding planner, which blows my mind, but
there's just so much, regardless of how big or small your wedding is. I feel like there's so much that goes. I know I've been through the whole wedding thing. So, and we had, I think, maybe 65 people at our wedding, which is not that big.
Yeah.
But we still had a wedding planner. I mean, she wasn't a full wedding planner. She was like partial one, or I don't know what they name it. But
partial. But if it's like halfway through, you have some.
Yeah,
some
like
people.
we had the majority of the stuff, but there's just so much that goes on, and so much and I mean, the bride's parents don't want to deal with it. The groom's parents, like everyone's stressed out. Emotions are high. So it's just easier to just have somebody else run all of that and make sure it goes smooth, and you just show up and look pretty.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why we had Chris there too. Because I was like.
And he did. He directed everything.
Yeah. Because I was like, I mean, and that was when we do the next one, because I want to do it again. I had so much fun. I thought it was a great event. And to plug the dresses that the bridal shops want to show off, and like for us it was just a fun day to do and show off some of the different vendors in our area. But my one partner was like, why don't you try to bring a wedding planner in so you're not trying to like run around, coordinate, and then pose in the middle of this. I was like, that's a brilliant idea. I was like, I knew I had you around here for something other than tech. And immediately texted Chris, and he was in. And then COVID happened, so he couldn't bring flowers, but we were planning on having him do that too. But yeah, that's obviously a whole nother thing happening right now.
That's a whole nother ballgame.
But even the day, because they have like full partial day of coordination. So even if you're just doing the day of coordination, just so you don't have to worry about it, like.
And you just don't want to. They're worth their weight in gold. Is that the saying? Worth your weight in gold?
That sounds right.
Sounds great to me. So we're gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Even though I haven't had a wedding planner yet, but that's okay.
You'll have Chris for so many things.
Oh my God. Chris is definitely gonna have to plan my wedding. I feel like it'll be super fabulous if he does it. So.
Of course.
Yeah. You see his cute little ring that he bought?
I did. I'm so happy for him.
I'm like, can you just like find me yourself, just straight form, so that I can like date a man like that?
Yep.
Yeah. No, but they were great, and I loved his shoes at the shoot too. That was fun.
Yeah. It was good.
The whole day. Yeah. So what else do you do other than, how did you get into bridal coordination? I mean, what led you down that path? I feel like
she slid into my DMs so hard. No, I'm kidding.
No, literally. I messaged Christine and I was like, so I'm a hairstylist, but I can be your bridal coordinator too. Please hire me. And she did.
Have you done weddings before? Was that just something that you were interested in, or were you specifically looking for a bridal coordinator? So it was kind of like a combo.
Yeah, she was looking for a bridal coordinator. I've never specifically done bridal coordinating before, but I taught and worked in the education department at the school that I worked at for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I got you when it comes to organization and planning things. I was like, I'm all up in that. So.
And her verbiage with everything, like,
yeah.
I talk, my brain goes so fast. So if I'm typing or doing it, it's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So like email campaigns, everything, verbiage, like she, grammatically is just way better than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, and probably a lot more professional sounding as well.
We work well together.
Yeah.
It's a good match. I mean, that's great though, because I think finding somebody who's specifically interested in the bridal industry and then can also be a stylist is important, because if you were only on the business side, you wouldn't have the understanding of what they actually need done. So having being a stylist and then also being the coordinator, I think is a strength, rather than just if you had said, hey, I need somebody to run the business side of things, because there's not that personal connection there.
Well, and I think too with it, like, again, she can do updos. It's not her total preference, but God forbid something happened and a stylist couldn't come, she would be able to do these things. She understands. She can help teach. She can really help teach.
Yeah.
I go to
and all of those things.
I'm doing a lot of prep there too. So I'm still there. So the bride kind of like remembers me.
Yeah.
I was your main source of contact, and then I'm there helping. So
Yeah. Because seeing a face multiple times, I mean, I think that helps with you're my person to contact if there's something that I need done or something's going wrong or whatever the case may be. I mean, you never know. But clearly updos are a problem, because like...
I mean, I'm not talking like full, I'm just talking about anything. I mean, I can curl your hair and that's as far as we're getting. Literally.
Same. I mean, I can barely do that. So I only learned how to curl my hair maybe a year ago.
I mean, I don't think I learned how to curl my own hair. I had already been doing hair for 5 years. I still personally didn't curl my own hair. When I worked in salons, I would have to have the other stylists curl my hair.
Is that something, this is something that I've always wanted to know. Do stylists just like every morning come in with like bedhead and then do each other's hair?
No.
Y'all do your own hair at home?
Sometimes. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we will if we have downtime, but we're all typically so, like, if someone can't, we will every now and then, but it's not as, like,
it's not as glamorous as you think, yeah.
Because typically we'll look at each other and they'll be like, hey, do you want to do my hair? No.
Yeah, I think this like sorority lifestyle of like, let's do our hair and makeup, and like, because you're all great at it, and then you have every palette, everything you need, like every color, and then you're good at it. So I would just think that you would just love to do that. But then I'm sure if you're doing that all day for, a million hours a day, time after time again, and then your coworker's like, hey, do my hair, you're like, fuck you.
Yeah, basically. I mean, we'll do it. It is fun when we have like our photo shoots. We do a lot of like staff photo shoots and stuff like that, or back when events were a thing and going to galas and stuff, we would get ready together, and that was always really fun.
You guys are really good about that. I mean, you'll definitely have to send Scott some of the pictures that you guys have of the team shoots that you have, because I feel like you post so many. They're always like, they have like this pink something in it.
Somewhere.
I remember there was one with a car. It was like, I don't know if it was a buggy or something.
Yeah, it was a pink
though.
convertible bug.
Yes. Exactly.
Almost didn't return that thing.
I don't blame you. It was super cute. And the shoot though was adorable. And like everybody just is on point with what they're wearing. It's just perfect. And you guys are so good at that, because I mean, it's all you.
Yeah.
My first day at Pinup was our Christmas photo shoot.
And that was so dramatic. I brought fake snow.
There was a list.
I think in another life, I was many random things, but I would love to be a producer or something. Like our photographer is Chrissy from K-Star Photography, and she does...
She puts up with us.
She puts up with us. But I literally will have because our first photo shoot was kind of like a summer fashion shoot. So we had like actual models and then some local boutiques. So we dressed them that way. Then we did a few of the staff pictures. That was way too much. And it was July. I think we all died that day. It was way too hot.
Yeah.
So then after that, I was like, I kind of got a vision for how I want my pictures to look, how I want my staff pictures to look, and what I want. So I literally will write a full list, how I want them posed with what. If they're holding products, how are they holding it? I will create like a different Pinterest board and do like our last photo shoot was balloons. I was going to do some bubble gum and stuff, bubbles. So I would like type in different words and look at like specific things of how I wanted pictures to look or what props I wanted used. I'm a little OCD about that.
But it makes it go very quickly.
Yeah.
And you already know exactly what you're doing. Oh, it's so
what you're
much fun.
posing with. They are.
Oh, so I need to hit you up next time. See, that's like.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, Pinterest is like basically a foreign concept to me. I'm only like now understanding the point of it.
See, I used to be so all up Pinterest.
We even have a Pinterest board just for our brides that has like our portfolio on there. So they can look at past work that we've done, and then we also have boards with inspiration for different looks. So we have like a whole boho one, smoky eye, dramatic makeup, natural makeup. So that's
I love that.
Another little thing.
That's like our focus this month is Pinterest, because I know I've been dropping the ball on that hard. So because I just don't use it. So I
don't know what you don't know.
Right. But like so many people, and especially for the brides, it's so important. I mean, if you can have a Pinterest board of your hair, makeup that you like, and then the flowers that you like, and all the different things, because it's all style preferences. So it just, instead of me trying to sit here and describe how I want my makeup done, I can just show you how I want my makeup done. So much it's pictures say 1,000 words, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
trying to get better at that. You'll have to teach me, because I'm still learning. So
I mean, we didn't have Pinup didn't have a Pinterest board till I was physically on Pinterest mainly for the recipes. But it is really good to find a lot of things and just organize things and create your own boards. And that is what a lot of brides do, because it helps show their actual color palette, what they like. You know, there's a warmer brown with a smoky eye, and then there's a cooler, darker one. And there is a difference. And so if you show us 3 pictures and they're all, you know, a warmer, caramely looking type of brown, we know exactly what you want.
Yep.
So it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that the bride might not necessarily know what it is they like about a picture. Like, to your point, the more brown smoky eye, they might not even realize it, but they're just subconsciously attracted to that look, and they wouldn't be able to articulate that. They would just say, I like a smoky eye.
Right.
So to you're like, well, okay,
there's so many different kinds.
Where do I go with that? And like, I like the more brown smoky eyes than the black ones. You know, for my eyes, hair color, it just looks better, I think. So, but if you asked me, I'd be like, oh yeah, you can do a smoky eye. And I wouldn't be like, oh, make sure you use brown tones and do this and that. But you basically, as an artist, would see that and pick up on that.
Oh yeah.
So I think Pinterest is a huge value.
Oh, for sure.
I just need to get better at it. I'm getting there. I only made a Twitter account this month, so.
See, I still can't do the Twitter thing.
We
I'm
don't
good.
have one of those.
Oh, I'm going down right. Oh, this is not Bride Genie at all. It's just me personally. Rabbit holes. Elon Musk, Twitter, Tesla shorts. This is totally off topic. Bought those. It was insane. It's great. Love it. Love it.
Gotta love social media, just in general. It is all a big rabbit hole.
Oh, I hate social media, but I love Twitter. I only got into it like a month ago, and I feel like Twitter is almost outdated at this point. Like, don't even try to talk to me about TikTok, because you might as well talk to a 70-year-old man. Like,
see, but I love TikTok.
It's too much.
I mean, now it was a lot funnier. Now it's like gone a little bit more girl. I don't know if half of them are real or staged about girls like finding out their boyfriends or husbands are cheating on them. Like, I feel like that's all I see now, and I'm like, this. Well, and this is on a bridal podcast, but like,
that's fine.
It went from so many funny things to that, and I'm like,
it's very strange.
But they are really funny.
So what I understand about TikTok is that, and I should appreciate this, I do actually appreciate this. So what you're talking about, apparently the AI that's in the back end of their system is incredible. So you must have liked maybe 1 or 2 videos like that. It picks up on that, and that's all you're seeing.
Oh.
Yeah. Like their AI is insane.
You brought it upon yourself?
Clearly.
Yeah. So like how you're only seeing that, and you're like, man, is that all people are posting? It's not, but they just were like, oh, she liked 3 videos of this in a row. That's all we're going to like send her. And it's crazy. So then.
Great.
Yeah. So like and I don't know how you break that pattern, because I don't use TikTok, because even a couple of weeks ago when I was at the beach, I remember I was sitting there and I'm like chilling, having a great time, and I'm like, look over, and there's like these 2 girls, and I watched them try to do a TikTok video for at least 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at one point I left the beach. I went up to our house, took a call, and I came back, and they were still working on this TikTok video.
Like a dance?
Yeah. It's like one of those dances.
Have you met Emily? She lives for recreating those. I mean, lives. I don't like making them. I just like watching them. But Emily,
See, I don't think. I barely have time to like collect my thoughts. Mm-hmm. So the concept of putting together a TikTok video, it's too much. I can't compute that right now, and I can't fathom how to implement that into Bride Genie. So I'm like, we're not there yet.
Well, and that's, yeah. I mean, a lot of people are saying like you can incorporate TikTok to your business, and I don't know. I'm good.
I just don't know how.
There's enough things. Yeah, I can't even think of. I'm good. I think, your Instagram, your Facebook, you're good. We're good.
Well, I think Instagram, I mean, we have Facebook, and like we're okay with it, but I don't see that as I feel like we get most of our outreach. We communicate with our vendors and our brides through Instagram the most, and then I know Pinterest is something we're missing because that's what brides are using.
Yeah.
Which they should be, why we're focusing on that now. But yeah.
I think mainly, like, and this might just be our following, I think our younger clientele is mainly Instagram, and then our older clientele that actually like will comment on things and stuff, we get a lot more feedback on Facebook from them. Because typically your market, I feel like that's a little bit older. Some of them don't want Instagram. They might have it and they might like randomly flip through it, but they're on Facebook more.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel like it kind of gives you that like half and half on both.
Well, and that's too what I kind of go back and forth between as a business owner is, okay, my clientele, my demographic are the older people that are getting married going to take the time to download an app to find their vendors. I don't know.
Yeah.
They might just be like, you know what, I'm going to just pick the ones that I know, call them, book them, and do it kind of like, not just, this is not supposed to sound like derogatory, but like the old-fashioned way, right?
Yeah.
And just go about it the way that they normally have done it in the past. Whether or not it was for a wedding or a birthday party or whatever they're booking, like, just typically you'd look them up, or you'd already know, I've worked with this photographer before, because if you are older, this maybe isn't your first wedding, you probably have done this. Like, you've thrown a party, you've booked a professional photographer, regardless of what it was for, and then you just know who you want to contact.
True.
So that could be the case. So, and that might be something. I think that, I don't know, I just hate, well, I feel like I talk about this on every single episode that I just hate Zuckerberg. So Facebook and Instagram are both terrible. But, I think it all depends on who you're targeting, and for you as a salon, it's a lot different than us as an app.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think too, even with y'all, with the whole app process, I mean, people are still going to want to, it's almost like the new form of a phone book, if you think about it.
Right.
Because even if you're having the old school people, they're still going to want to see stuff. I think, which I don't even think there is Wedding Wire even a thing anymore.
Soon they won't be.
Okay. So, but like I personally, I only looked at it just a little bit. Mm-hmm. I ended up actually going to like an in-person show, but at least looking at an app, it does give you the chance to kind of see, what are you looking for? What do you want? What do you not want?
Exactly.
And regardless, I think now too, just with unfortunately the circumstances with COVID, that's honestly your only option.
Yeah. And you know what? I think too, kind of to play devil's advocate to myself, which is unusual. I do this all the time. To validate your point is that that's actually what I compare like Wedding Wire to. Is I say they are literally yellow pages on the internet.
Yeah.
Like they add no value. You can Google search a vendor, you'll find the same information and ratings that you'll find on Wedding Wire, which sucks because vendors pay so much. But I think I'm sure that's that's a hot button issue. I know that's literally the hot button for everybody. Yep. But to play devil's advocate on myself is that I think even older demographics today are still a lot more technically savvy than like my grandparents, right? Like,
oh yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, even if this is your second wedding, you're in your 40s or 50s, like, you're still downloading apps, you're still using the internet, you still are using probably like Grubhub or Uber Eats or whatever. Like, you still understand the value of what how much easier an app is to use, operate, and get things done more efficiently than if I were to sit there, look up the restaurant, and like talk to a person and have to do it that way. So I don't think it's necessarily that you have to be younger. So this is me like literally arguing with myself right now, but so I agree with you.
I know. I mean, it's the same thing. Like when we got married in the Outer Banks. So like when I had looked a lot of that up, that was 3 years ago. The vendors that I saw at the show, or even the vendors that I booked, you're paying for these higher platforms on it, and it's the same thing with Yelp. I didn't know that as a business owner. If you're paying more, you can delete those bad reviews from Yelp.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like all these vendors that I met that are really great and everything, they were never up there. And it's, you pay to play.
Exactly.
Unfortunately. So.
Not anymore.
Nope. So I think it is good when things are true and authentic and people can see, the work and the effort and love behind what you're doing.
Yeah. And again, that's the problem. It's like when you have a platform where you can get rid of reviews. You can manipulate it based off of how much you're paying. And then especially when said platforms are struggling because the vendors that are using them are like, hey, wait, actually, you're giving me fake brides and this isn't real and these are all bots and you're not actually providing me with
you're
value.
You're paying per click. I could go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah.
All day.
Oh, I do. My goal in life and mission is to take them out. So, but,
But people don't know that. The normal person who's not a business owner, they don't know that. They don't understand that what they're seeing is what these people are physically paying to put in front of you. Nope. And don't get me wrong. And I'm not trying to bash the vendors that are paying, that do have the back end funds to be able to put yourself in front of that. But it is devaluing a lot of people that might not have that are still amazing vendors to work with.
Well, and to follow up on that point, it's not saying that being on Wedding Wire is bad, right? If you're a vendor, because right now or up until now, that's your only option.
Yeah.
So if that's your only option, you're gonna do it. It's not that you're doing it because you're trying to game the system. It's like, this is literally it. And same for brides. I mean, even my recently engaged friends who we started talking about the process, and they'll know about Bride Genie, but not as much because they literally just got engaged, right?
Right.
And we'll start talking about it, and I'll even test them. I'll be like, I want you to go on certain sites, and I want you to send out requests, and just let me know how many responses you get from vendors. I will bet you $1,000 it's zero. It's none, because the vendors get fake leads.
Yep.
So they're paying just for advertising. It's yellow pages. It's yellow pages on the internet. It's crazy. We could go down this all day long.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I agree.
It is what it is. It's going to change. That's what my mission is. So I think that, the vendors are looking for something new. And I think the couples too, because how many times can you pick up a phone and call, even like salons, right? And talk to Heather and say the same things to Heather that you're going to say to the next 3 salons that I'm calling and trying to get pricing from.
Well, and that's too, why so many salons, I think, when do you think online booking really became a thing? I mean, I don't even think it was 5 years ago.
A few years, yeah.
Yeah, because and now people didn't offer that. Now people are sick of calling and waiting, or calling and not knowing. So now, we have an app. There's an app for that. There's a million different apps for booking your normal hair service online, because people want efficiency, something that's quick, efficient, it gets the job done.
Yep.
They want to see what's in front of them, possibly look at the stylist that they're going to book it, and keep it moving.
Exactly. And that, I think, and it's not a knock on people. I'm the same way. I mean, I think people just inherently are busier, so they don't want to waste their time doing things that take forever when we know we've advanced in society to have technology to make our lives easier.
Oh, for sure.
So if I have an app, Bride Genie, to find all my wedding vendors, why would I sit there and go through Google or any other site and look them up and then call them and then answer, so I'm getting married on this date and I have this many people and we're looking for this 10, 15, 20 times. Why am I doing that? Just to get the base pricing back. Now you have to, you could be calling somebody when you have a $1,000 budget who their starting price is $5,000.
Yep.
Or vice versa. Like,
exactly.
You could be looking for that $10,000 photographer who you just called somebody who started 3 months ago. And it's like, there's such a disconnect. So, yeah, we could rant on that all day long.
Oh, for sure.
It's like my favorite thing to rant about. And I think, again, it's people in general are just becoming smarter consumers. So, and that's with technology, which I think is a good thing. I mean, I'm sure online booking makes your business a lot easier. I mean,
oh, yeah. I mean, it's 24/7. So,
right.
I mean, sometimes people...
So nice.
A lot of my younger clientele, when it was just me, and obviously everyone had my cell phone, I would get texts from some of these girls at like 1 or 2 in the morning. Oh my gosh, I need a lash fill or this, that, or this. And, so it's like, you're like, that's a me.
Sorry, Megan.
But I mean, so now they can literally physically go on there and do it themselves. They don't even have to talk to anyone. They don't have to wait for me to respond. They don't have to wait for anyone to wake up. It's there.
Well, and they can see the availability, and then they can, because that's what I mean, even my doctor's appointments now, all my doctor's appointments, I don't even have to go to the office. I literally can sit there and they show me the times that they have available, and then it's virtual. It's a virtual appointment. So I'm like,
yep.
I don't even need to come in to get like prescription for anything anymore. I could be fine with never going back to the doctor's office unless I was like needed something done, I guess. But like,
right.
That's a whole nother thing. But like I'm saying, like, you're going for a refill. It's like, we've been doing this for like 3 years now. You really need to do anything? Like, nah, I'm good.
I don't really need to see you.
Right. And I think too, even with the virtual component, because a lot of the vendors, you do need to have a conversation, and sometimes a phone call doesn't cut it. I mean, I don't like when I go on Zoom calls or whatever platform you're using and people have their cameras off, because I'm like, why didn't I just call you?
Right.
Like,
I want to see you.
Yeah. Especially like if it's a team call, it's like, well, are you actually paying attention or are you just, doing something else? And then I get life happens. So like sometimes you have to call in and stuff like that. Like I've had to do that. I've literally left the studio, and I'm probably going to have to do this again today. Left the studio, called in on my phone like halfway home, and then ran upstairs and like switched my camera on as soon as possible. So it happens. I get it. But yeah, I think with the virtual component and just adding that into the mix of how you're communicating with your vendors just makes things so much easier.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess for a stylist, it's more, there's always a balance, right? Like a DJ, you have to have a personal connection with. A stylist, it's more about their talent, right? Like I need to like, we might not buy, but like if you're gonna do a bomb makeup job, like that's what I care about more. So I think the virtual booking would be more important than having the meeting, but I think both are still necessary.
Yeah.
At least with our virtual show, they'll still be able to chat with us too. So they can kind of get that's the one thing that I loved so much about the regular shows, is that when they would come through, like you would just get to talk to them and fill them up, and that was good.
But yeah, I mean, and I think too, even with the virtual show, like being able to call in, not really call in, but like FaceTime with whatever vendor it is that you're looking for, you can at least see them. Because some people are, even in the beauty industry, like they still want to see what you look like. They still want to see, like, are you as the stylist, do you know how to do your makeup? Do you know how to do your hair? Do you know how to take care of yourself? Yeah. Photographers, like I personally, when I was booking mine, like we were stuck between two, but I had a better personal connection with the other photographer I ended up going with. So I think that's where being able to call in and being able to still talk and see and meet, I'm doing air quotes, your vendors through these shows. That's where that's going to kind of totally set that apart.
Yeah. And I agree. I mean, I definitely, if I was sitting there getting my hair and makeup done by somebody, and even like my nails, right? Like I'll judge them kind of like pretty hard and be like, unless it's like a guy doing my nails, it's a little different. But like I'm looking at them and I'm like, all right, do yours nails look good or not? Does your hair and makeup look good or not? Like, and I know you didn't technically do your own hair. You styled it, but you didn't color it. You didn't cut it. You didn't do those things. But like, if your hair is looking like a mess, why would I trust you to do mine? Like, it just, I guess it's probably an unfair bias, but it's true. And that's kind of like the industry that we live in. And same with, I mean, the photography thing is huge because I know we talked multiple times already about the fashion show, but like I think about, and I really did not think this was going to be a problem. But I see what happened to Chad, who I've known for years, on that shoot, and homeboy froze. I was like, oh, so anytime we're negotiating anything, I just need to throw a camera in front of you, and then I'll just you'll freeze. Like,
and men just naturally typically do in front of the camera.
And Cristobal, you know, to his credit, did an amazing job with trying to coach him through it. Obviously, we had a little bit of a harder time because like we're business partners,
right?
So like, you know, he can't grab me a certain way like a husband or a fiance would, right? Because like we're business partners. So that obviously added a level of difficulty that you normally wouldn't have. Yeah. But like I still was watching him try to like coach him through, and he would say things to like, hey man, I know you think this is stupid. Like, I know if you were getting married right now, like, you wouldn't be about this photo shoot. Like, you'd just be like, hey, like, I'm just gonna like grab her and like, you know, pick her up and like do like fun things. Like, I get it. Like, this sucks. Like, try to like coach him through it.
Yeah.
And that, if you didn't meet him in person or virtually or whatever, however the communication method was, you wouldn't get that. Mm-mm. So there's a huge ad. I mean, matching on personalities is...
Oh, for sure. And I think that's why a lot of photographers end up doing, you know, the engagement shoot. They meet the husbands get comfortable with them. They at least kind of know who they're in front of the camera for.
Yep.
Men are not as comfortable as we are, you know, taking selfies, doing this, doing that. There are some, and that's fine. But for the most part, I don't want to be in front of that camera, let alone be in front of that camera for hours on end all day, posing and taking pictures.
I have this conversation constantly with photographers. It's always the men. They're uncomfortable. Girls, to your point, they're taking selfies. We're just more comfortable on camera. We like the attention. And we're the one who have been planning this, right? Like, for the most part. Not always, but for the most part, we've been planning it. So we're more comfortable with the concept. Whereas they could probably take it or leave it.
Oh, yeah. No, they're...
Probably most likely leave it. But
100%.
Later down the road, they'll be happy they did it because now they, you know, they look back on it and they'll be happy. But it's not easy, so...
No.
Yeah.
Props to all the vendors just in general. It's a lot to bring somebody's big day to life.
It's such an emotional event. It's probably, I would say, the second most emotional to like having your first child. I would say that's probably a little more emotional, but it's a lot less like of a planned or a orchestrated event. Yeah. Right? Like you're just having a kid, but it's probably a little more emotional, so we'll credit that. But as far as like event,
clearly we don't have kids. None of us have kids because we're like, yeah, totally.
It's single, no kids. Like, what the hell am I talking about right now? I'm so underqualified to have this conversation, but I'm gonna just say it anyway. I'll just roll with it. For event orchestration, it's probably the most emotional.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So I would give them so much credit because you're dealing with emotions. You're dealing with something that, like, if you mess up this event, you can't offer them a refund on their next wedding.
No. Because they're not doing this again.
Right. If I mess up
not the same person anyways.
Well, if I mess up your company Christmas party, like, I'll be like, hey, listen, I know that I dropped the ball. Like, I'm really sorry. The next time you have an event, I'll make sure that everything is flawless. I'm going to give you half off. Like, it'll cost you nothing. Right. If you mess up their wedding, you can't do that. Mm-mm. Like, it's done. Mm-hmm. Event's over. Time's up. Like...
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So I think that's why I give all vendors so much credit, because everybody deserves it for sure. Mm-hmm. So ladies, I gotta ask, if you had, we're coming up on time here, if you had one piece of advice that you had to give your brides, like they're thinking, they have their dress, they're kind of coming along in the process, they're getting ready to book their stylist, they're thinking about hair and makeup, what would it be?
You want to go? You want me to go? I could talk to a wall and I'd be fine. I really could talk to a wall. It's a problem.
My only thing is like finding inspiration photos before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have anything for us to go off of, it makes it a million times harder to figure out what's in your head.
Yeah.
So, like, finding just a few, not too many, but, like, finding a few photos that go with your dress. Like, if the person has the same dress on that you, like, similar dresses, styles, neckline, yeah. Also, bringing your color scheme for makeup helps so much because you don't want your makeup to be clashing with your bridesmaids' dresses, the flowers, all that jazz.
And I think stylists should have thick skin. For the most part, we all have pretty thick skin. You kind of got to be in this industry. So I feel like as a bride, to just be honest with your stylist at your trial. Yes. Because you're not going to hurt our feelings. And I've always told my clients that just in general, I'm not going to see you after this. This is not going to be my whole day. If you don't like something, you will not hurt my feelings. And you honestly shouldn't, because you're paying for this. These are pictures you're going to look at for the rest of your life. I'll see a few, we'll repost a few, but I'm not looking at them for the rest of my life like you are.
Right.
So be honest and don't feel bad about being honest, because this is your day and should be what you want.
100% agree, and I was really hoping you were going to say that because I knew you were talking about it. We were talking about that earlier, and I was like, I hope that's the point she picks, because I think that's, I think people are so afraid of hurting feelings, and it's like, it's your day. So, like, you got to make sure that it's what you want. But, so where can everybody, we'll plug Pinup before we sign off here, but where can everybody find you guys?
So, we are on Instagram and Facebook, Pinup Studio _NC. And for Pinterest, because clearly I'm not good at this, it's her thing. What's that?
It's Pinup Studio Bridal.
Oh,
all right.
Makes sense.
Because it's geared just towards our bridal clients.
Love that. We'll have to connect on Pinterest, but thank you both very much. I think there was a lot of great things for ladies to consider, whether it was hairstyles or eyebrows or eyelashes or bridal shows. I think we pretty much covered it off. All things.
I'm excited.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, and thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're done.
We did it.